All right, well, I'm going to read an article that I found while I was doing research for a paper. I was drawn to it because it illustrates how loving God is and how he is the good shepherd. And to know all that a shepherd does helps to understand Jesus' role as the good shepherd. So this article is by Yuri Alakrim. I think that's how you say it. I don't know how to say his name. But it starts off with the intimate relationship between shepherd and sheep. When we learn of the intimate relationship that exists between the shepherd and the sheep, the figure of the Lord as a shepherd of his people takes on new meaning. Giving names to the sheep. Jesus said concerning the shepherd of his day, he calleth his own sheep by name. Today, the eastern shepherd delights to give names to certain of his sheep, and if his flock is not too large, all of his sheep may be given names. He knows them by means of certain individual characteristics. He names one pure white, another striped, another black, another brown, and still another gray-eared. All this indicates the tender affection which he has for every one of his flock. Guidance for the sheep. The eastern shepherd never drives his sheep as does the western shepherd. He always leads them, often going before them. But this does not always mean that the shepherd is always in front of his sheep. Although he may be usually in that position when traveling, he often walks by their side and sometimes follows behind, especially if the flock is headed for the fold in the evening. From the rear, he can gather any stragglers and protect such from a sly attack from a wild animal. If the flock is a large one, the shepherd will be in front and a heifer will follow behind. The skill of the shepherd and personal relationship to them is clearly seen when he guides his sheep along narrow paths. The shepherd psalm says, he leadeth me in the paths of righteousness. The grain fields are seldom fenced or hedged in Bible lands, and sometimes only a narrow path runs between pasture and these fields. The sheep are forbidden to eat in the fields where crops are growing. Thus, in guiding the sheep along such a path, the shepherd must not allow any of the animals to get into the forbidden area, because if he does, he must pay damage to the owner of the grain. One Syrian shepherd has been known to guide a flock of 150 sheep without any help along a narrow path for quite a distance, without letting a single sheep go where he was not allowed to go. It is very important that sheep should not be allowed to stray away from the flock because when by themselves they are utterly helpless. In such a condition they become bewildered, for they have no sense at all of locality. And if they do stray away, they must be brought back. Playing with the sheep. The shepherd is so constantly with his sheep that sometimes his life with them becomes monotonous. Therefore, he will occasionally play with them. He does this by pretending to run away from the sheep, and they will soon overtake him and completely surround him. Intimate knowledge of the sheep. The shepherd is deeply interested in every single one of his flock. Some of them may be given pet names because of incidents connected with them. They are usually counted each evening as they enter the fold, but sometimes the shepherd dispenses with the counting, for he is able to feel the absence of any one of his sheep. With one sheep gone, something is felt to be missing from the appearance of the entire flock. One shepherd in the Lebanon district was asked if he always counted his sheep in the evening. He replied in the negative, and then he was asked how then he knew if all his sheep were present. This was his reply, Master, if you were to put a cloth over my eyes and bring any sheep and only let me put hands on its face, I could tell in a minute if it was mine or not. Caring for the sheep in special time of need. The love of the shepherd for his sheep is best seen when times of special need call forth unusual acts of care for members of the flock. Crossing a stream of water. This process is most interesting. The shepherd leads the way into the water and across the stream. Those favored sheep who had always been kept hard by the shepherd plunge boldly into the water and are soon across. Others of the flock enter the stream with hesitation and alarm. Not being close to their guide, they may miss the fording place and be carried down the river a distance, but will probably be able to clamber ashore. Some manage to get it. Little lambs may be driven to the water by the dogs, and they are heard to bleat pitifully as they leap and plunge. Some manage to get across, but if one is swept away, then the shepherd leaps quickly into the stream and rescues it, carrying it in his bosom to the shore. And I'm going to stop there. So I just really enjoyed this article because it shows that Jesus cares for each one of us and is our good shepherd. And he cares about each one of us individually. And he's also concerned with the details of our lives. And so I'm going to just say, follow Jesus, listen for his voice, and know that he always goes after his sheep that are lost or have gone astray.
Sarah came to me last night.